Abortion rights had a win last night in many ways. And we're seeing that absolutely, that when abortion rights are on the ballot, people turn out and people vote in the correct way. Of course, Kansas over the summer was the first big example since Roe v. Wade that we saw of a direct ballot initiative that went the way of a woman's right to choose. Take a look at this from the Associated Press. Abortion rights supporters won in the 4 states where access was on the ballot Tuesday. All 4 states! As voters enshrined it into the state constitution in battleground Michigan, as well as blue California and Vermont, and dealt a defeat to an anti-abortion measure in deep red Kentucky. In all, it was a dramatic illustration of how the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in June to eliminate the nationwide right to abortion has galvanized voters who support women's right to choose. The court's June decision has led to near total bans in a dozen Republican-governed states. The Kentucky result repudiated the state's Republican-led legislature, which has imposed a near total ban on abortion and put the proposed state constitutional amendment on the ballot. The outcome echoed what happened in another red state, Kansas, where voters in August rejected changing the state's constitution to let lawmakers tighten restrictions or ban abortion. So we got a rejection in a red state, similar to Kansas, of an anti-abortion amendment. And then we got enshrinement into the Constitution of other blue states, which is so good because, as we understand, we cannot take these rights for granted. And so the fact that last night voters got an opportunity not just to vote for candidates that stood for what they believe in regard to abortion rights, but directly say yay or nay on the right itself, enshrining it in the Constitution or rejecting an anti-abortion amendment direct ballot initiative, is really good. And it says in a very loud way how people feel, because when you can vote on an issue, you can't blur the lines on that. If it's a candidate, you can say, the Democrats didn't necessarily do well because of abortion, because all these other things could also happen. But if it's just on the ballot, abortion rights specifically, you can't deny what that's about. And it shows where the American people stand in those states, at least, even in a red state of Kentucky. Kentucky, that is red. And we saw in Kansas as well. Voters are not on board with stripping away a right that women have held for decades at this point. And that just shows you how out of step both our current Supreme Court is from the American people's perspective and the current Republican Party is. And so I hope over the next series of elections that keeps getting drilled in, and I hope the Democratic Party works to enshrine in the or to be able to pass a bill that protects abortion rights on the federal level, because that is what we need and that is what should be fought for. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.